Good evening and welcome to Prime Business. I am Emma Davis. Tonight, new Chief Executive of MTN, Stephen Blewett, is warning that fresh investments into the telecom sector could be affected badly due to current tax levels. Industry data suggests that each mobile operator contributes about 20% of its revenue as taxes to the state. The new chief executive is warning that this will slow the expansion of digital infrastructure, a development that may affect affordability and access to mobilized internet. Mr. Blewett was speaking at the 3i Africa Summit.
Part of any nation state is that if you're a large company, you are part of the fabric of producing a successful country because we contribute to the revenues of the country, and we take that very seriously, and every quarter we show how much we contribute because we're proud of what we give. Now the balancing act always is and is always going to be this kind of little bit of area of friction between how much is we give and how much the country needs, but it's required. But what has to happen is if you work together with the government, you can collectively develop a process of allowing revenues to flow. And this is the key part. It is not conflict, it's collaboration. And what I always encourage people in any country I've worked is if we look at each other through the lens of collaboration, we move away from us and them to a point of, okay, how do we collaborate together to ensure a successful revenue generation for the country, but also allows the business to operate successfully and innovation to occur.
But how do we draw the line? Because we've seen the numbers, and you've published it every quarter, and in billions of direct and indirect taxes. Where do we draw the line to ensure that whilst we demand you to pay more, but also to ensure that we don't stifle? And your previous CEO spoke about this when I sat down with him, that there's a thin line to ensure that we don't stifle innovation, the expansion. People are complaining that they want 5G, 4+G and all the rest. How do we ensure that whilst we demand all these things, we don't kill the geese that is laying the golden eggs? Yeah,
I mean, absolutely. I mean, there's another analogy I always like to do. Now, you can milk a cow, but when you kill the cow, you can't milk it. Do you know what I'm saying? So the reality is it is a very thin line, and that's why I say it's a collaborative approach. I believe that what we need to do is we need to start sitting down and rather saying, how much more can I get from you, as opposed to how do we sit, how do I enable you to invest more, to generate more revenue, to be able to allow you to succeed, because when we succeed, the country succeeds.
The Bank of Ghana and the Development Bank Ghana, working with a digital partner, Prospera, and supported by the Monetary Authority of Singapore, have announced a $100 million funding target to be disbursed to the Ghanaian MSME ecosystem through the Ghana Integrated Financial Ecosystem. Speaking at an MOU signing ceremony, CEO of DBG, Kwame Naduka, highlighted the enormous impact this collaboration will have on domestic economic growth. He spoke to the media on the sidelines of the 3i Africa Summit in Accra.
It's part of our on-lending funds that we receive from our development partners. So we received in total roughly about, for on-lending, maybe about 600 million. Over the next few years, we're allocating roughly about 100 million over the next few years to this digital platform, because we believe that's the way to go, that we need to move from a traditional method of lending to a more digitized way of lending. Prospera is actually owned by the Monetary Authority of Singapore, so they're doing two things. They're providing the technology platform that allows the deals to go through much quicker. They're also building at the same time the credit engine that allows the SMEs to be evaluated very quickly by the banks, so that they don't go through the same old manual, traditional, long winding process. But it's a very good question you ask, right? The deficit that we have today is huge in terms of what our SMEs are looking for, and no one bank has enough money to fill that gap. So what does the Development Bank do? We act as a catalyst by creating the right mindset, by putting in place the right tools, by making sure that we only lend wholesale through the other banks. What happens? We're only the catalyst. So if we end up doing 14%, But by doing that, we de-risk the environment. Guess what? The banks are now more comfortable to come in. And already we've seen examples like that. I'll give you one example in agriculture. In the rubber industry, a few years ago, just when we started, none of the banks were in the rubber industry. So we go in as a catalyst. We start lending to the wholesale. We begin doing business development, building capacity. And now, guess what? We are irrelevant to the rubber sector because all the banks now have the confidence to go in because we have made those first steps.
Away from the 3I Summit, the Ghana-Netherlands Business and Culture Council, in collaboration with MDF West Africa, has launched the 5th edition of the Dutch Export Academy, aimed at helping entrepreneurs to export onto the European market. According to General Manager of the Ghana-Netherlands Business and Culture Council, Charlie Miada, the businesses will have opportunities to access investors and create markets for their products to enhance export activities.
The Dutch Export Academy initiative offers practical insights, expert guidance, and hands-on training to equip entrepreneurs with the knowledge and skills necessary for successful international trade. Participating businesses will be taken through courses such as export processes and documentation, export finance, and international trade agreements. General Manager of the Ghana-Netherlands Business and Culture Council, Charlie Nwiada, said this would help the businesses to capitalize on the European market.
Part of this program is now focused in Ghana, where we do the training, etc., etc. And then the second part of the program will be an expedition trip to the Netherlands. And that is for us also a challenge, because we basically want to bring those Ghanaian companies in contact with interested party in the Netherlands. So it's like a matchmaking. So that one we are now trying to prepare. And that program is also not free. I mean, you have to invest yourself also in the airline ticket, etc. But so we don't want to make it a school trip to the Netherlands, because everybody can do that. But I want to make that you when you are part of that trip, you really because you also have to put in some money yourself. That is worthwhile and it is beneficial for the Ghanaian companies, but also, of course, for the Dutch companies who want to import your stuff.
Director of the Management for Development Foundation, Julia Appiah, said the initiative has helped businesses scale up over the years.
Over the past 2 years, we introduced the study aspect, where then they had the opportunity to travel to the Netherlands, and the exposure, I think, has been quite helpful, because then whilst they are in the Netherlands, you get to visit shops, get to visit investors, people who are also looking for products from Ghana. Last year, for instance, it was really interesting to see businesses that they went to shops to ask for, trading, is it possible to sell? And we had people getting their stock being taken up by businesses in the Netherlands. Shops were open to take them up. The products that most of them sent, they sold out.
20 Ghanaian businesses are undergoing training under the Dutch Export Academy initiative.
DStv for Business is offering specialist entertainment options tailored to the unique requirements of different business settings in Ghana. According to the head of DStv for Business, Kelvin Kamasi, this package is designed strategically to provide flexibility and value for money for customers. He spoke in an interview with Joy Business.
Understanding the unique needs for businesses today, DStv for Business is designed to provide a superior viewing experience built specifically for commercial clients. In an interview with Joy Business, the head of DStv for Business, Kelvin Kamasa, emphasized that the packages were designed to offer flexibility and a tailored experience for businesses.
So whatever be your business type, whatever be the business need, once you come and you speak to us at DStv for Business, we'll be able to create a package that suits your establishment type and offer you value for money. Banks, for example, are focused on what? News, general entertainment, National Geographic stuff, stuff that really keeps them, informed on a day-to-day. So we have packages, which is our Ultra Work Essential packages, which focuses on these elements that they need to offer, entertainment to their clients and also their staff.
The head of corporate affairs at MultiChoice Ghana, Ni Amadagadu, says this package offers value for money for businesses.
We've got the smart service that allows multiple dwellings, for example, in a gated community, to have a common head end where we instead of all the houses have a unique dish on their building. It's possible for you as a real estate developer to install one dish in a particular location and then use some of the solutions from DStv for Business, like IPTV, for example, so that it's distributed and it does not destroy the beauty of the homes. So instead of having, let's say, 70 rooms and having 70 decoders and paying 70 accounts, DStv for Business can give you a solution that will make you pay much less, but still give customers the flexibility of choosing channels in their individual rooms and being able to watch DStv and on their terms, essentially.
Glyco Healthcare is hoping to take advantage of the ongoing digitalization in the economy to increase health insurance coverage in the country. The move will help to capture more people from the informal sector and thereby increase the country's insurance penetration rate. Chief Executive for Glyco Group, Edward Che, spoke to journalists after launching the Glyco Retiree Plan and 20th anniversary of Glyco Healthcare. Here's a report.
After operating for 20 years in Ghana, Glyco Healthcare has contributed to the growth of the health insurance industry. As it celebrates its 20th anniversary, the company has also launched a retiree plan focusing on pensioners. Group Chief Executive Foko Che shed more light on Glyco Health Retiree Plan.
Most times you also forget to make provisions for our future when it comes to health. Yes, we talk about our pensions and so on and so forth, but hardly do people talk about health. And that is why we felt the need to venture into that area to provide the needed service to bridge that gap where we expecting that whilst one is working, provision will be made not for current but for the future. So the product will ensure that once you go on retirement, then the provision, health insurance provision that was made at the time you were working would then come in to provide your health insurance needs during retirement.
Mr. Che added Glyco is poised to use technology to enhance health insurance coverage.
So you notice that in most of our products or most of our packages, we have the annual checkups to ensure that if anything is developing, we'll be able to provide the needed treatment before it escalates. So the future, yes, we're also looking at the future where we're going to combine technology and resources available to delight the expectations of the customer.
Speaking to Joy Business, Chief Executive of the National Health Insurance Authority, Dr. Da Costa Abuaje, underscored the importance of health insurance and appealed to health facilities to stop illegal charges.
We are committed in, obviously, fulfilling our obligations, but we also implore them to also fulfill theirs. The issue of illegal charges has become very topical in this country, and I'm hoping that as we continue to pay, facilities will obviously not charge our clients, because it's very important. We need to obviously give good services to our clients, and the things that they are not supposed to pay for, they shouldn't be paid for. We cover at least about 95% of diseases. So we are working with the private facilities, the Ghana Health Service, CHAG, and all the other stakeholders to make sure that we stamp up these illegal charges.
In commemoration of its 20th anniversary, Glyco Healthcare will be unveiling new initiatives aimed at enhancing healthcare access and quality in Ghana.
That'll be all for Prime Business. I am Emma Davis. For more business news, do log on to myjoyonline.com. But I leave you with Entrepreneur in You series. Since yesterday, we couldn't bring that to you. And we have Dr. Maxwell Ampon talking about the conversion rate and how crucial it is for businesses. Have a good evening.
Hello. On the last episode, we learned how to calculate our cost per lead, which is the cost of generating the leads, which is the marketing campaign essentially, divided by the number of leads that you were able to generate. Now, the next step in our sales funnel is to convert those leads into paying customers, which is what everybody wants anyways. And that is why we need to learn how to calculate our conversion rate, which essentially calculates how efficient your sales funnel or your sales strategy is. So your conversion rate is the number of paying customers that you generated from the total number of leads after the marketing campaign. Why is this important? It's important because after all the hula baloo that we spoke about in the last episode as to don't pay attention to impressions, pay attention to leads. Now I'm coming again to say pay attention to leads, but if it has to lead to customers, you need customers in order to keep your business alive. So if your conversion rate is efficient, then you know that your marketing officer, your marketing manager, or your marketing team is doing a very good job, because once the person interacts with the product, you need to communicate the value of that product to the customer in order for them to be able to shell out money to pay for your product or your services. I'll take this opportunity as well to highlight the importance of data collection in all of this, because how do you know the number of people that walk into your office or walk into your shop without taking some form of data to be able to tabulate to find out that X number of people came within this period of time, and these are the leads that were generated, these are the paying customers that were generated from those leads, these are the ones that didn't come from those leads. All these come from data collection. You don't need fancy machines and fancy applications in order to do all of this. You do it from a notebook if you want to do it. You do it on your phone if you want to do it. But let us prioritize the importance of data collection, because without data collection, without a way to have some data to input into all these calculations and all these formulas that we are trying to explain here, it goes nowhere. So in the next episode, now that we've told you how to create your low cost per lead, now we are discussing your conversion rate. We are going to look in the next episode as to how to retain those paying customers, which is your retention rate. So until then, thank you for tuning in and keep it well.
Brought to you by Africa School of Entrepreneurship.